This video covers a few of the key topics that will be assessed in your end of trimester test. We cover percentages, proportionality, and distance time graphs. What I suggest you do is each time you see a question, pause the video, try and answer the question yourself first, then click play and compare what you've written to the answers that are presented. First question here says, last week I bought a kilogram of tomatoes for $2. This week the price was only $1.50 a kilogram. By what percentage did the price decrease? So let's have a look at what we've got here. We start with $2 and we end up at $1.50. And we want to know the decrease. So the $2 is where we started, so that is our 100%, and we don't know what the percentage decrease is. So if we finish with $1.50, what actually is our physical decrease? Well, the decrease will be $2 minus the $1.50, which will equal $0.50 or 50 cents. So that's our decrease, but that's not the percentage. So let's do this one with a proportionality grid. We have our 100%, which is our $2. We don't know the percentage decrease, but we know the value of the decrease is 50 cents, so $0.50. To work this out, as you should know, when our unknown is here, we multiply these two, and then we divide by this one. So x will be equal to 100 multiplied by 0.50 divided by 2. And if you work that through on your calculator, you should get the answer of 25%. So our price decrease, our percentage decrease on our price, percentage decrease is 25%. With the second question, it says, yesterday at noon, the temperature was 32 degrees Celsius. Today at noon, it was 40 degrees. By what percentage did the temperature increase? So looking here, we started at 32 degrees Celsius and we ended up at 40 degrees Celsius. So our 32 degrees is our 100%. That's where we began. Now, what's our temperature increase? Well, our temperature increase is the difference between our two temperatures. So that is 40 minus 32, which is 8 degrees Celsius. So we want to find the percentage of this. So again, I'm going to do this with a proportionality grid. You don't have to. There are other ways of working this, but I think this is quite a nice, simple, and very efficient way of doing it. So x is what we're trying to find. We have, which is a percentage. Our 100% is 32 degrees Celsius. And x is relates to our percentage increase, which is 8 degrees. So as we did before, to find this value here, we multiply these two and we divide by this one. So in this case, we're going to have x is equal to 100 times by 8 divided by 32. And if you work that through, you actually get the answer of 25%. So again, with this one, we would say our percentage increase is 25%. With this third question, it says that the price of a litre of milk increased 5% compared to last year. If the new price is $1.21 per litre, what was last year's price? Well, let's break this question down. So we don't know what last year's price was. We'll just call it X. And last year's price, we increased it by 5% to get this year's price, which is $1.21. That's the new price. So we added 5% to the original amount. So X is our 100%. And then our price this year is 100 plus the 5. So it's 105% of last year's price. And we want to find last year's price. So again, I'm going to do this with the grid. My 100%, I don't know, so I'm going to call that X. And my 105% I do know, because it's $1.21. Again, x here is going to be these two numbers multiplied divided by this number over here. So x will be 100 multiplied by 1.21 divided by the 105. You put that into a calculator and you should get the answer of $1.15. And this then will be the last year's price. So last year's price is $1.15. There are other ways of solving the problem. You will always get the same answer if you do your work correctly. With this question, it says the rent on my apartment is $1,200 a month. I asked the landlords to lower the rent by 10%. Luckily, he agreed. What is the new monthly rent I have to pay? Now, I'm going to use a different method on this question. You can still use the proportionality grid if you wish, but I want to show a slightly different method for this one. So I know I'm starting with $1,200, and that's the figure I'm starting with, so that's 100%. And I am subtracting 10%. So this time I just want to find 10%. So I want to find the 10% discount. That's how I'm going to approach this question. You don't have to do it this way. It's just a slightly different way of doing it. So to find 10%, still use my little grid. My 100% is 1,200. My 10%, which is my discount, I don't know, so I'm going to call it X. As you know now, X will be equal to 1,200 multiplied by 10 divided by 100. I put that into a calculator and I get the answer of 120, which is dollars, $120, which is my 10% discount. So that's a good, quick way of finding a percentage of an amount. Now, it's a discount, so I'm going to subtract it. So my new rent is my old rent, which is 1,200, minus my discount, which is 120. And if I work that through, I get an answer of $1,080 per month. So this is a different method where I work out my discount first, and then I subtract it away to get my final answer. In this next question, we're going to be looking at time and converting units. It says that I can walk 20 kilometers in 5 hours. If I walk at this speed, how long will it take me to walk 200 meters? So I've got a difference of units here. I've got kilometers and meters. So if I'm going to be looking at 200 meters, I'm going to turn that into, I think I'll turn everything into meters. I'll take my distances and keep them in meters. And because it's a short distance, it's clearly not going to take me hours. So I'm going to turn this amount of time into minutes. So let's have a look at this. We have 20 kilometers. So 20 kilometers, well, 20 kilometers is, there's 1,000 kilometers, 1,000 meters in a kilometer. 1,000 meters is 1 kilometer. So 20 kilometers is 20 multiplied by 1,000, which is 20,000 meters. 5 hours. Well, 5 hours, there are 60 minutes in an hour. So 5 hours is going to be 5 times 60, which is 300 minutes. Now, I'm going to put this together in a little grid, and I'm going to say that I've got my 20,000 meters, 20,000 meters, and that takes me 300 minutes. I want to walk 200 meters, and I don't know how long that will take me in minutes. So I'm going to call that X. I can then do my X is equal to 300 multiplied by 200 divided by 20,000, and then X will be equal to 3 minutes. Again, it's not the only way of working this question, but it's a nice, quick, simple progression to get through to the correct answer. In this question, it says a car's top speed is 120 miles per hour. How many minutes will it take the car to drive 50 miles at top speed? So this is a speed, distance, time question. Let's just record what we've got. Our speed is 120 miles per hour. and our distance is equal to 50 miles. We know the formula is speed equals distance divided by time, and we want to find the time in minutes. So let's just work out the time in hours, and then we'll see if we can convert that from there. So our speed is 120, our distance is 50, and our time we don't know. Our unknown is at the bottom here, so we can rearrange this equation and have time is equal to 50 divided by 120. If we put that into a calculator, we get a pretty horrible answer of 0.416666, and so on. So that's the time in hours. We want to turn it into minutes. We know there are 60 minutes in every hour. So if we want the time in minutes, what we do is you take that value we had before, 416666, and so on. Just leave the number in your calculator and just do multiply by 60. And you do that, and we get the nice answer of 25 minutes.